Hi guys, in this lecture you will be learning the static and final keyword. So first of all, what is the static keyword? The static keyword is used with the functions and the variables. So here first of all I'm going to show you the functionality of the static keyword. Here I'm going to declare a data member whose name is name, and then before this variable we need to write static. So now this name variable is belong to the class and it have not any link with the object. It is only for the class. Here I'm gonna create a object person p1 and then new person and then here, and now we are able to edit this variable. We are able to give the value to this variable using the name of the class. Here write the person, then dot and then name, and now here I'm gonna give the value Fahad and then semicolon. So now this name variable have the value Fahad, and now I'm gonna print out this value. Here we need to write the class and then variable name. Here I'm gonna copy this. Here is here another question is that why we write the class name person here, because this variable is now belong to the class. It have not any link with any object and it have only the single value. It have not the different values for all the object. It have only a single value for the class. So now I'm gonna print this. Here is the value of this static variable, and now I'm gonna tell you about the static function. So first of all, what is the static function? The static function is a function which only use the static variables. Here I'm gonna create a static function. First of all, we need to write static, then void display. Here is the parenthesis and here is the static function. So now here I'm gonna create another variable int num. So now this function only accept the static variables. Give the value to the num. Here is 7. So it gives the error. Here is the error. Cannot make a static reference to the non-static variable. But if we give the value to the name, here I'm gonna give it Ali. So this is the static variable. Here the error is occur due to the semicolon. The error is removed because we write the static variable. So now let's run it. Here I'm gonna add the printout statement, and now let's run it, and we have not called this function, so we need to call this function. Here write the person, then display. We have write the person dot display because this function is also static and it is only belong to the class. It have not any relation with the object, so that's why we write the class name. And now let's execute it, and here is the Fahad and Ali. And now another question is why this function does not accept the simple variable. Because when we create the class, at the first the static variable and the static static function is created immediately. So when the static function is created at the first, so at that time the static function only know about the static variable. The static function does not know about the simple variables because it is created when we create an object. So that's why the static function does not assess any simple variable, it only assess the static variable. Here I'm going to remove this static. So a simple function can assess both variables, the static and the simple variable. Here I'm going to give the value to the num. Here is 2 and you see that there is no error, and here I'm going to print the num. So now let's run it, and here we need to create an object to call this function because this function is no more related to the class. And now see that Ali and the 2 is printed. This function is created when we create an object. At that time this object knows about all the static and the simple variables, so it assesses the static and the simple variable. So this is the static keyword, and now I'm going to talk about the final keyword. So first of all, what is the final keyword? The final keyword is just used as the constant. If we make any variable final, or in other words constant, so its value cannot change later in the program. So here I'm gonna make it final. Here it is final, and now I'm gonna give it value 9. So now this number have the value 9 and the final keyword is apply on this number. Remember this thing, when we declare a variable final, so we must need to give it the value. So now here you see that in this function we try to change the value of the number. So here it gives the error, the final field cannot be assigned. So this is the final have the fixed value. I will see you in the next lecture, that is about the package.